news.
All right, so this is a little bit of a catching up because this literally dropped, I think, or I saw it,
and it
later in the
does.
evening after we recorded last week.
Yeah, never
but
fails.
This is about some changes to Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft has raised the price on various versions of Xbox Game Pass, and they discontinued some other tiers and made some different changes to some other tiers. So now it's just not quite as easy peasy as it used to be. It's a little bit more convoluted, kind of similar in some respects to how when PlayStation Plus came out with their different tiers, and it was kind of like you just had to figure out what the differences were and which one applies to you and which one you're wanting to go through. Xbox did put out an FAQ that kind of explained it a little bit better, so I'll kind of go over some of the high level stuff. So Xbox Game Pass Ultimate in the United States is going from $17 a month to $20 a month, and the price goes into effect for new subscribers, or I guess I should say went into effect for new subscribers on July 10th. And will kick in for pre-existing customers of Xbox Ultimate or Game Pass Ultimate in September. Xbox Game Pass for console, which was a cheaper alternative to Game Pass Ultimate, it didn't include PC games or the EA Play titles as part of the subscription. That's going away.
Which is what the Ultimate is, right? The Ultimate is PC and EA
Ultimate
and right?
is essentially everything. It's right. Multiplayer, play online. It's access the games as well on PC. You get EA Play as part of your subscription. You get games day and date, all that kinds of stuff. So Xbox Game Pass for console, which again did not include the PC side of stuff, so it was just simply console, like the name suggests. It also didn't include EA Play titles at all, but that version is going away. And it's going to be replaced in the coming months with Xbox Game Pass Standard. That is going to cost $15 a month in the US. And current subscribers to Game Pass Console will still be allowed, as long as you are subscribed to Game Pass Console and you don't stop it, you will be able to continue that. And the reason that's key is because one of the bigger changes to this is Xbox Console or Game Pass Console used to get new games from Xbox Studios, day and date. With Xbox Standard, or Game Pass Standard, sorry, I keep calling it Xbox. With Game Pass Standard, which is now replacing it, day and date is gone. You don't get games day and date. The only version of Game Pass now going forward that gets day and date for new customers is Game Pass Ultimate, the highest tier version of it. So what they did say was that Microsoft confirmed that the day one games will be made available to Game Pass Standard eventually. They didn't land on a specific date, a certain amount of time. So we don't know if it's 6 months. We don't know if it's a year. We don't know if it's a month. We don't know if it's 10 hours. We have no idea when it's going to be. And I'm sure it's going to vary. I'm sure there's not going to be a blanket that it's always 6 months or it's always a year. Yeah, I'm sure. But it's likely going to fluctuate, but you're not going to be getting. So like when the next Halo game comes out or Gears of War 6 or whatever, that's not going to be coming day and date to Game Pass Standard, which is the middle tier version. Game Pass.
My question is, when would it? Was it like a week later? Is it a month later?
Yeah, we don't know. It seems like it's likely to be a case by case basis. I would assume that the Xbox Studio games likely will fall into a specific cadence. So let's say if it's 6 months, probably all the Xbox Game Pass studios will be 6 months. It'll probably be their third party partners that they make deals with to be a part of Game Pass. Those are the ones that are probably going to have like weird cadences that's going to do things, but we don't know if that's conjecture. The 6 month comment I just made. We don't know when it's going to be until this all kind of goes into effect and we start to see how this plays out. Game Pass for PC is getting a price increase as well, but it's only going from $10 to $12. It is still getting games day one, and Game Pass Core, which is basically what replaced Xbox games with Xbox Live with Gold. It's going to be jumping from $60 annually to $75 annually. But if you like to pay month to month, it will be $10. So, which is the same price that it was. So those are the high level changes. There was also a couple of other little things that happened. So they said that starting September 12th, Xbox, you will no longer be able to stack Game Pass. So there were some people, like if a deal goes on sale for Game Pass, they would buy a bunch of it and they would stack it all up for I think you could do up to 36 months in the past.
Oh, wow.
They're capping that at 13. You can't do any more than that. So if anybody currently already has it past the 13 months, then that's fine. You can have it. But moving forward from that date, you'll be capped at stacking for 13 months, which is a little bit of a differentiation. Yeah. And that's kind of the current version of it. There's still some other areas and some other questions and some other things that have been changing just within Xbox and the way some changes being made to the way that their reward system works. Because there are a lot of people, especially in our community, that'll just earn points and pay for Game Pass with rewards. Seems like there's some changes to that, but the language is very ambiguous to understand. Is it going away completely, or is it just the ability to auto renew, or we don't really know. So there's some clarity that still needs to come in some of these areas. But in general, the high level is that Xbox Game Pass is getting more expensive across the board. And if day and date is the reason you subscribe to Game Pass, which has been their main push for Game Pass, in my opinion, since the beginning,
I think so too.
It now only applies to the highest level tier of it, not any of the other ones. Well, I guess technically it does apply to a PC as well, which is the cheapest option of all of them, quite frankly.
Yeah,
sure.
Or not. I guess Game Pass Core is technically the cheapest, but Game Pass PC, you get the most bang for your buck out of all of them, in my opinion.
Do you know if it has to be month to month, or can you do an annual? You can pay
Xbox
annually
Game Pass,
and you get a discount.
Game Pass, as far as I understand it, you do not have an annual option. You have to pay month to month.
I think that's right.
I think Game Pass Core is the only one that you can buy annually, but that's essentially just multiplayer and an access to like 25 games or something. It's the lowest tier of them. I think that one you can still buy an annual package, but all the rest of them, you're forced to buy it per month. Yeah. You can't do like I want to buy a year's worth for a slight, 10% or 20% discount or whatever. That is something that's a little bit different on the PlayStation Plus side. In general, PlayStation Plus, even on the highest tier, is still cheaper than Game Pass. Of course, there's the arguments of you don't get day and date, and there's tons of different things to debate about whether one's worth the money or not. So I'm not talking about that. But on the PlayStation Plus side, they do offer both versions. You can pay annually, or you can pay month to month, and you get a little bit of a break if you do it annually, as I remember. I only pay for the lowest tier version of it, just whatever gives me access to multiplayer and the free games per month. So I don't know specifically because I don't dabble with that as much. But so some changes coming to the Xbox Game Pass. You're likely all aware of it already, but I wanted to touch on anyways because that was the big news that dropped last week. Yeah.
No, I love that. That's great.